Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 137th ever episode of the Dex Podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Kellz.
Jimmy is not here. He is indisposed this week, but hey, we're here. Welcome. We are the official podcast of the Dex on YouTube, where we cover Pokemon, trivia, and strategy every single week. What else do we do? All kinds of stuff. We got a Discord. This is the podcast. There's new series around every corner. Today,
Junior.
Today, there is a new series out, if everything goes according to plan, called the Mini Dex. It's actually a reboot of an older series, but this time we covered 3 in one episode. Did we do that before?
That was the extra dex.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so go head over to the channel and check that out if you haven't yet. But if not, if that's not what you're about to do right now and you're going to sit here and listen to this podcast for an hour, welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, it's good to see you.
Oh my God.
It's good to reverberate in your ears again.
Yeah, how have you been?
What a comfy ear you have.
Yeah, sorry about last week. We had a weird sort of issue where I was like having trouble uploading the podcast to the server for some reason. Like it just wasn't working. But it works now. I don't know what was going on. But I've eventually got that last week's up, so we're back on track now. It is May 12th. If everything is going according to plan, we are recording this according to Pan's Labyrinth. If everybody has eyeballs on their hands.
Well, I was talking about like the god Pan.
Like the flute guy?
Yeah, the flute guy with the goat feet.
Tight. Wow. We went off in the weeds. This is a Pokemon podcast. Every week we do news, we do fan mail, we do all kinds of stuff. We got a lot of news, it looks like, this week.
There's some chunkiness.
Yeah,
to it.
nothing too crazy, nothing too earth-shattering, though there is some like historic stuff. But before we get into that,
hey, how was your Pokemon week?
Ooh, I love it so.
Yeah, getting pretty crazy with those.
So my Poke Week was pretty good.
Yeah?
Right? Yeah.
What'd you do?
It's pretty good. Pokemon Go had a flash event.
Oh, the grass
It was
thing.
like 3 days long. This event where grass type Pokemon were a little bit more popular. So I got a couple Hoppips. I got a couple Chikorita.
I took advantage of it on day one. Got a couple Hoppips.
Great. Congrats.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was nice. There's like a little dog park near my work that I go to sometimes after work and just like, sit in the parking lot for a second because it's like 3 Pokestops and there's always a bunch of Pokemon there. So I just like pop up there, park right there, get the Pokemon and then leave.
I've been struggling with the Pokemon Go.
You have?
Yeah, well, okay. 2 factors now. Number 1, like, I feel really disappointed if I like miss a spin day. Like if I like miss.
You break your streak.
Yeah, if I break my streak, I'm like bummed. I'm like, why am I even playing this? But I love like walking around and hatching eggs. That's been like really rewarding for me this time around for some reason.
You've got tons of incubators.
Yeah, but I've been having a lot of fun hatching eggs. I don't know, like that's the main thing. And part of that, I like looking at, I know a lot of people like don't look at their phone when they play Pokemon Go because you don't really have to, right?
Right.
But I kind of like it. I kind of like looking at it while I'm playing for the most part.
Like watching your little sprite walk around?
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be different if I had the Pokemon Go Plus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you'd like it.
Yeah. I think I might get one if I can. I don't really know what the deal is with that.
They're really fun. Like next time we go out for a walk, I'll trade you phones and I'll just use it on yours and you can use the Pokemon Go Plus with mine and see how it works.
I just mean like, I don't like, is it easy to get one?
Oh, like now?
Let me look on Amazon.
What's it say?
In stock, not machine specific, $35.
Yep.
But it's not Prime.
That's okay.
It's just weird. I like don't trust that. Like, how is it coming to me?
Well,
why isn't it Prime?
Normal. It's not.
It's just weird that it's not Prime. I can import a Japanese version with Prime, but like the domestic version is not.
Just do like the Best Buy one.
Whoa, they sell like little cases for it.
That's really funny.
There's like a little Snorlax where the button becomes his belly.
Aww.
And there's these like wooden ones. There's like a Team Mystic like wooden looking one or like a leather one.
I should get one of those because I dropped mine and it has a big scratch on it now.
Yeah,
I should get it a little cover.
Yeah.
Snorlax.
Do you have this Pokeball power bank?
What?
That thing looks awesome.
What Pokeball power bank?
I'm just like looking at the Amazon page and it's like, if you have this, you might also want this. It's a Pokemon power bank that like looks like a Pokeball and it like lights up.
Oh no, but I saw something like that at the last con we went to.
Yeah. But the other problem is now that my phone battery is like getting wrecked.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think it's just because I fall asleep with my phone a lot and I'll like wake up and it's like under me when I wake up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like maybe that's doing something bad to the battery. But I don't know. It's about time for me to get a new phone. It's been a couple years now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always like to skip one generation regardless of how long it takes. So I'm getting there. I have a 6S. I think I'm going to get a 8 soon.
I have a 5C.
I know a lot of you guys out there.
6.
I know
six cheapy or something.
you have a
5?
6C.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
6C.
I know a lot of you guys judge because it's like, why do you need a new phone? But honestly, like somebody with my job where I'm like riding all the time and stuff, like having a nice, reliable phone is like pretty essential. And like, I feel like playing Pokemon Go is like a slightly higher priority for me than for most people.
As part of the
Just because of my job.
reporting the news.
Yeah. I don't know.
Other than that, though, I was there was also like a little event happening in Pokemon Shuffle, the Water Cup, and so I was playing Pokemon Shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
Not Shuffle. I'm sorry, I don't play Shuffle anymore.
Pokemon Duel.
Pokemon Duel. Nothing against Pokemon Shuffle.
I feel
except
you.
for everything.
What?
It betrayed me. That's all.
They have Alolan Pokemon in that game now.
I know. The Alolan Pokemon came out in that, and but I've just been doing a lot of Duel as well because I still really like it, and trying to like upgrade my figs and stuff.
Your figs?
My figures.
Oh, your figures. I was like, what?
My
You got to
figs.
understand that I'm Croatian. And so when you say figs, I'm like, oh, the fruit of my people.
Great. But yeah, other than that, my Poke Week's been pretty much that. I was playing Dragon Quest Builders, and that's super, super fun.
Dude, I have been slacking on my Pokemon playing because I sort of like enacted a new rule. Number one, I started streaming again. So that's been fun.
Congrats.
I haven't been able to stream super regularly just because I'm so busy, and like when I'm like done with work, like the last thing I want to do is like go be on camera. But I've been streaming regularly, if not as often as I'd like.
Sure.
And I was inspired by Pro Jared to try and he was playing all the Final Fantasy games, so I tried to do a similar thing with Dragon Quest. We just did a Dragon Quest brand deal recently on TOVG.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been like very saturated with Dragon Quest stuff lately because we've been like, like capturing footage, doing research, all that stuff for that vid just to make sure that it was like accurate and stuff and good. And I've loved Dragon Quest my entire life. And so I'm going to play all the Dragon Quest games on my Twitch. I already beat the first one. It was fun. And the subs keep rolling up, hanging out.
Congrats.
So I got to make some more emotes.
Ooh, yeah.
I got to get Amanda to do that. She makes the best ones. She made that Wallace with the sunglasses one.
It's so cute. I like recreated that with my sister's sunglasses.
Yeah.
And I just like have a picture of real Wallace in sunglasses.
Guys, you gotta come check out my stream. It's a fun time.
It's very fun.
If you got Amazon Prime, link it up to your Twitch. Send me a little sub. You get even more. You get even more emotes.
Memotes.
And it helps. Because that's also the channel that we're going to use for the Dex business. I'm planning with Ryan. We had a little problem because, oh my God, OBS is like not playing nice with my computer at work. And I like had this whole plan to like set up a secondary streaming rig at work so that like when I'm at work, I can like jump down there and like stream for a couple hours. And that's been like not happening. And so I like reached out to OBS. I was like talking to like the dudes who like work on it and like submitting issue reports and stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out why I can't stream. But in the meantime, I talked to Ryan, and this weekend, if I have some time, I'm going to like do a trial run of our breeding streams.
Cool.
So keep an eye out on my Twitter for that, because it's not going to be like a high profile thing. I'm sure like some people will come check it out and stuff, but I'm really just trying to see if it all works. So I'm going to spend some time with Ryan in the next couple days, like trying to hammer that out. We're also partnered with Discord.
Yeah, that was fun. That was
this
exciting.
week. Yeah. They're out of hoodies in my size though. So I'm like, come on, dudes.
So I'm like, I get the hoodie.
Yeah. But we're partnered with Discord now. So we're going to start upgrading our Discord a little bit in the next couple weeks or so.
Get ready for that.
I'm sorry that it's not like faster going, but I have like a million things going, and I didn't forget about you. Kelly always pops in there. I pop in every once in a while.
Yeah, I've been hanging out in research lately, and like I'm really excited about some of the stuff that's going on. You know what the best thing about the Discord is?
What?
I was like talking to a few of the people that are in there, and I'm really excited to like start helping with research projects without being like the main source on it.
Right.
I just want to be a contributor to like somebody else's video or theory or something like that. Because like, I mean, like, it's the Dex Discord, but like, I'm not like the boss of everybody, And so like, I'm really excited to be able to like collaborate as like an equal among my peers, like all researching the same thing.
Just
we were talking about like the
nerds.
Reggies. Yeah, we were talking about the Reggies the other day, and it was just like really, really fun.
Guys,
So,
all you got to do.
hop in there.
All you got to do if you want to be a part of that is hop down into the video description of this very video if you're watching this on YouTube, or hop over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/thenationaldex, and check out any recent video. Link to the Discord is right there in the description. I didn't think it was going to be this much of a thing, and it's really cool. When I started it, I thought it was going to be like a fun thing to help out with the streams, but then the streams sort of fell behind a little bit, and now the Discord is like this huge Pokemon city that's pretty good, and the mods work hard, and it's good, and it's a good vibe. It's a good vibe in there. I love it. What else? Anything else in your Pokemon week?
No, I think that was it.
Yeah, I wanted to play more Pokemon this week, but I started a rule with myself that I'm not going to play any video games. I'm not going to buy any more video games unless I beat the ones that I have, and so I've just been like beating games. It's been like really fun, but like kind of bad. Like I stay up really late, like beating games. Like I beat Zelda. I beat all the Shovel Knights. I beat that game Kamiko for the Switch. I'm like playing I Am Setsuna now. I beat Hyperlight Drifter.
I beat Abzu.
Oh yeah,
that
looked really cool.
I cried so much.
Yeah.
It was so cool. It was so good and awesome.
Yeah,
it
but
really neat.
I need to like jump into some VGC matches because I've been missing it. I've been having a great time. Again, a year goes by where I didn't get involved in the competitive scene, but it's too much. Like we're starting to realize that like it's too much work. Like I need to be just more of an enthusiast and like practice my, just getting better at battling. But I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to like compete on the circuit for any hope of winning ever, just because you got to dedicate your life to it. And I'm not going to like disrespect the work that like the people put in who like really, try and gun for it by like pretending like I'm going to do any better just because I got a YouTube following, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I'm not going to be battling all the time on Twitch really soon. So, hang out, take a look, check it. What else? Anything else Pokemon related that I did this week? I feel like there's one other thing that I'm like forgetting about that I did, but I don't remember. Did you see that freaking
Oh, we got a tea box.
What?
We got a box of tea cookies.
Oh, yes. A fan sent them in. I don't have the name. There was nothing on them. It just was like I was given a package with a Post-it on it that says Alex and Kellz on it. And inside of it was
from the Pokemon Center, Kyoto, Japan, like
yeah.
little tea, like matcha tea cookies.
Yeah, really
Very
cool.
cute.
Really beautiful box too.
The packaging is very, very
Yeah.
pretty.
Did you tweet out like a pic?
I did not, but I should.
Yeah. Look for a tweet on Kell's Twitter from like May 10th. Should
Yeah.
probably do it right after this podcast, eh?
I'll hashtag it tea cookies.
Yeah. Hopefully we remember to do that.
Poke tea cookies.
Which one is it?
Poke tea cookies.
Hashtag poke tea cookies?
Poke tea cookies.
Poke tea cookies.
Right?
Sure. Great. Okay. Well, if that's that, you got anything else? You buy anything?
No, not this time.
Okay. Let's jump into the news.
Welcome to the news, darlings.
I have no regrets.
You know what? At this point, now that I've heard them all,
It's a thing now. I
You-
never
you
thought
just do
twice.
you.
Yeah, I never thought twice about it, but now I never realized like how like consistent it was. Anyway, this last global mission was the biggest success ever. That was the 3 million Pokebeans one. Guess how many we got?
I know how many.
I know
we got.
how many. I know you know how many, but out there, just take before I tell you how many we got. There was 3 million was the goal. Take a guess what we did. We smashed it. 75 million. 75.25 million almost beans.
Zang.
Crazy. So if you're registered, that's an easy 4,000 friend or festival coins for you to go pick up right now in the festival plaza. You can do that right now. And then also if you participated enough, which I think you could do in one session, it was like 30 beans. Yeah. Your level ball and your rare candy are going to be obtainable via code later this month, so look for that. The next global mission starts May 30th, and it's going to be all about fishing at bubbly fishing spots, which I think is going to be fun because I think it's going to create a lot of new coins or whatever they're called. Bottle caps?
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of people are going to have an excess of bottle caps if they like get really into that, because there's some good stuff that you can pull out of those bubbly fishing spots. So look for that. That's on May 30th. We're probably going to do a Dex News with Hilda about that. So
Yeah.
don't trip. Last week, the Guardians Rising Tcg Set was released. It's a huge expansion to the Sun and Moon. It adds 169 cards. That's crazy. It's a lot for
It's a big
like,
expansion.
yeah.
Really, really big.
If you're in Europe,
it's like 3 different expansions from Japan.
Yeah.
That is in this expansion.
normally it's 2.
Yeah.
But it's 3 this time. If you're in Europe, though, you're in luck, because to coincide with the release, a Midnight Lycanroc distribution is happening at game stores, like GAME, all caps, game stores, and GameStop stores. And it comes with no guard, which is pretty crazy, as well as Swords Dance, Sucker Punch, Fire Fang, and Stone Edge. And it's holding a life orb. That's pretty crazy.
It's good. It's a good, nice
Yeah,
distribution.
there has been no official word from Pokemon, but some of the stores are reporting that the event ends June 13th. So you got about a month to go do that. Go do it. And you know what? If you're in the UK and you do that, I'll see you at CoxCon if you want to toss me a Midnight Lycanroc. How's that sound? Bam. Also, come to CoxCon. Is it sold out?
I don't know.
Sneak into CoxCon.
Also, Retrospill Meeson. We're
Yo,
going in like days.
That is going to be on Monday. If you're listening to this and you're in Norway or Sweden or anywhere in that sort of
vicinity
zone over there, hop a car, hop a plane. We'll see you in Sandefjord.
I'm so excited.
We'll see you in Sandefjord, Norway for Retrospill Messen. It's going to be great. Gerard's going to be there. Norm's going to be there. Game Chasers are going to be there. Who else is going to be there? Brental Floss. Bunch of people. It's going to be a great time. More people than that. It's going to be a great time.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. But yeah, go get that Midnight Lycanroc if you're in Europe. And speaking of distributions, the Hoenn Cap Pikachu is currently the one that is available as part of the Pokemon I Choose You distribution event. Just as a reminder, it's like you can only pick up one of these total, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a schedule to when they're going to like be available to you. So this is now currently the time to get the Hoenn Cap Pikachu. This is only in Japan. It comes with Pikachu Z Crystal, which is cool. But you can get one in the game, so whatever. But like you get an extra one this way. It's the Hoenn Cap Pikachu. And if you miss it, don't worry, because there's another chance for that one in August. I feel like this is probably like the least exciting one for me personally.
The Hoenn Cap one?
Of all the ones, like I think Hoenn is like I'm not like least sentimental about the cap.
I feel like he had that one for a really long time, because the Hoenn lasted ages.
It basically reminds me of the entire part of the anime that I like did not watch because it was
what?
like,
I guess
not
that's
good.
true. I mean, I feel like it's an iconic one of Ash's, but like also it that is the one that I have the least like watched.
That's what I mean.
with.
Like the Johto one, come on. Like the Kanto one, come on. Like the Sinnoh one, it's Sinnoh. Like yada yada yada.
Yeah, well, I don't even know what the Sinnoh one looks like.
It's
To
cool.
be honest,
It's
so maybe
tight.
that's the one I care least about.
Okay, roasted. Bam. But yeah, if you're in Japan, go grab the Hoenn Cat Pikachu, or if you want to toss Alex one, just because I'm not excited about it doesn't mean I don't want to collect it. Hit a boy up.
That's real.
I'll see you. I'll see you in Sandefjord. Just kidding. Maybe. They both got raw fish. Japan and Norway. Big part of that country. You excited?
I'm so stoked, man.
You stoked for the raw fish?
I mean, like probably not the raw fish. But
Are you gonna
like,
try?
I'm a
Are you
huge
gonna
raw
try?
fish
I
fan.
know you're a picky eater. Are you gonna try the local cuisine of Norway?
I mean, like I feel like I have to. Like I might never go to Norway again. Who knows?
You know what? Bless that outlook. That's what you need to be like, guys. Even if you're a picky eater who has anxiety about what you're gonna eat, you should experience the world. Never be afraid. It's like skydiving, except way safer. Unless you have allergies. But you should know about your allergies before you try foreign foods. Anyway, that's a detour. But speaking of weird stuff, in some strange news, the Pokemon Company International announced that they made a deal with a company called Wicked Cool Toys. I don't know if they created it, but they definitely currently own the license for Cabbage Patch Kids, something called a Girl Scout cookie oven, which I imagine is like an easy bake oven, kind of. Did you check that out?
It kind of like is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like a couple different kinds. It's
But-
very strange, huh?
But so basically what this means is that Wicked Cool Toys is going to become the master toy licensee for Pokemon merchandise outside of Japan and South Korea. So I guess we're going to get our own Western brand of like, I guess we already get this.
there are always distribution companies that work with Pokemon to like get toys out there. So this is going to be like the new official one.
But I mean, I wonder if they're going to make the same toys as the Japanese and South Korean distributors, or is it going to be like they handle a certain type of brand of Pokemon toy that is only sold in the West?
Like, honestly, I couldn't tell you because, like, I don't know. Like, the last sentence I wrote in this paragraph when I was collaborating the news was, honestly, I don't know exactly what this means for Pokemon merch as a whole because I'm not educated in toy company partnership and manufacturing.
Maybe they're just like an entity that manages it. I don't know. But starting from July 2018, we're going to start seeing merchandise by Wicked Toys appear in stores. But if you're a fan of the old Pokemon merchandise, never fear, because it was clarified that Tomy, which is one of the most popular Pokemon merchandise producers in everywhere, is still going to be partnered with Pokemon. And apparently, Pokemon Company International has now become a strategic investor in Wicked Cool Toys. Don't know what that means.
It's just like some business stuff. If you understand what this means and you know, send us an email and we'll read it.
I'm sure it's a very simple. I'm sure it's a very simple situation. But
Here's what you need to not forget about. Pokemon is not going to be the design of Pokemon merchandise is not going to be influenced by Wicked Cool Toys.
Right.
So you're not going to get Cabbage Patch looking Pokemon that's silly. Don't even let your mind go there.
They're just manufacturing the toys that Pokemon is designing.
It was just very strange because their repertoire of products that they sell are not very popular with the same market that Pokemon toys are popular with. You know, it's marketed towards very, very young children.
Yep.
Ones that don't read yet. So that it was interesting, but honestly, I don't know what this means for the whole of Pokemon merchandise. So
super weird.
Just take it as news.
But I would love to hear an email about it if you guys have insight.
Yeah.
But next, let's take a sharp left turn because now we're going to talk about the Pokemon battling season, which is kind of kicking into high gear as the championships get ever closer. The World Championships, which are in Anaheim, and I'm going to be attending, hopefully, if we are in the country.
Yeah, we are in the country.
Great. So first thing first is that the next battle competition for the second month in a row is the 2017 International Challenge. This is the May version. It's a double battle. It uses the VGC 2017 rules, Alola Pokedex only, no Mega Stones. But also, if you compete in this, you also earn championship points, which is pretty important. Registration opens on the 17th, which is just next Wednesday, right?
Yeah. And
it goes to the 25th. Which is, I think, a full week of time if you need the time, which is great because I'll be back in America by then to register if I need to, if I'm not able to do it from Norway. And the competition from May 26th goes from May 26th to May 28th, so it's a 3-day thing. It's the weekend thing again. This is pretty cool, though, because if you participate in this, you get Tyranitarite, Abomasite, and Manectite, which are some Megastones that I actually used back in Gen 6.
That Manectite, right?
I used a Manectite and I used a Tyranitarite at different points in Gen 6.
Nice.
But of course, it's not that big of a deal if you miss it because they're going to be releasing those stones for everyone in just a few months after the cool kids who participated in the battle competition got it. So,
sick.
Yeah, tight. But I'm excited. I'm going to do this one. It's going to be really fun. Hopefully I'll be able to stream this one. I can't imagine that the streaming setup, I won't have at least something workable by that time. So I'm going to try and stream my battles for that each day.
Nice.
That'd
be really cool.
Yeah, I'm going to try and do that. But yeah. Also, 2 regional championships are going to be streamed on the Pokemon's Twitch channel really soon. The Madison Regionals in North America, which I believe are in Wisconsin.
Yeah, Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah. It's that Madison.
Yeah.
Maybe, probably.
I'm fairly sure.
Seems like it will be because Madison, Wisconsin is the capital of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Pretty big city. And then also Birmingham Regionals in UK, which are both going to be streamed June 3rd and 4th for VGC and TCG matches. Is that all happening at once?
Yeah, they're both happening the same weekend. So
that is weird.
Rad.
But hey, let's do it. June 3rd and 4th for both VGC and TCG. We'll all watch it. We'll hang out in the Discord. I haven't been able to do that as much as I want, but I'm going to put this one on the schedule because, 2 at once. When does that ever happen? Granted, I'm a little bit more interested in the VGC than the TCG just because I know more about it and I'm more involved in it. But TCG is so fun, you guys. I really encourage you, if you're a person who think, you think I could do cards. Cards are a big thing. Or if you like Magic or if you like Yu-Gi-Oh! And you've never played Pokemon, pick it up, give it a try. Or even if you just like tabletop board games, I think it's a really fun one. And the deck building aspect of it, jeez, is super fun, and it's really transfers well to the app. It's really fun to do both of those things. And you can like build your deck before you have the cards that you need for the deck. So you can like put them in there and then like fill in the blanks as you go so that you know exactly what you need to make your deck work.
Oh.
So I really encourage you guys to go do that. It's fun stuff. Also, registration for the 2017 North American International in Indianapolis, Indiana has opened. It's going to take place June 30th to July 2nd. Juniors and seniors have a registration fee of $45, while Masters is $60. And this year, spectators have a registration fee of $10 for under 16 and $15 for people over 16. But it gets you 2 or 3 booster packs, which like
booster packs are like $4,
Yeah.
and so like you get 3 booster packs if you are an over 16 and you pay the $15, which makes your ticket like $3.
Yeah,
and you
not
get
too bad.
2 booster packs if you are 16 and under, and that makes your ticket like $2.
Hopefully that is
Extra.
representative of how they're going to handle Worlds this year as well.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know whether or not we're going to be able to just like get in and like do whatever,
Mhm.
you know, just because we are that's how we were able to get into the World Championships last year.
To
I don't know
like as news coverage.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to just like walk in with a press badge this time, but if not, I'm happy to pay $15 or whatever to get like, I would pay double that to get into Worlds,
Yeah.
especially if I'm compensated with a couple booster packs.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I think that's a really nice way of like getting people in the door and involved, and like also like, you know, I mean, honestly, also like making it so like not thousands of people
Yeah.
try to crowd the one building.
So what do we think is what do we still think is missing? Like, why isn't it? Do you think it's just public perception? Do you think it's just like Pokemon?
I think that they just need to, I mean, I guess we get some good news, like, about when and where these events happen, but it seems like the official word from Pokemon Company is, like, not always, like,
Yeah.
really in your face about, like, when tournaments are happening. It
Yeah.
seems like they don't focus on it quite as much. They seem to focus on, like, just, like, their games rather than, the tournament aspect of it. So, I don't know. Maybe if it was put under, like, I don't know. If it was given a little bit more spectacle and a little bit more like hype, I think that it would get more like esport national attention. But like, I don't know. I think that it's growing, and I think that, I think to push it over the edge, we just need to like get the feel. I think they need to exude the feeling that it's legit.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit more.
Yeah, I think just like a little bit more production budget.
Not saying it's not legit, because it totally is a totally
The
legit
scene is
tournament.
legit. The scene is legit. I think just like the broadcasts need to be a little bit more advertised and a little bit more produced.
Right.
Because
yeah.
the announcers do a good job. The overlays don't look terrible. You know, like they have nice lights and cameras, but I think like a little bit more like promotion would be good.
a little bit more promotion by the Pokemon Company, and maybe like commercials for it on TV, like,
or like
weird
on your 3DS, like,
or like on the 3DS or something like that. Like,
I bet you there's
the
so many.
tournament.
I bet you there's so many people out there, especially like kids who are like between middle school and high school age, who are like just completely ignorant to the fact that this scene exists, and like could maybe get like an alert on their 3DS that's like, "Yo, come watch this on Twitch like this weekend," and be like, "Oh my god, I will watch this." It's like you know, if you take the angle of like it's like the real life Pokemon League. Actually, they should just call it the Pokemon League. I don't know why they don't.
That's
like
true.
that alone would like get so many little like nerds excited about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you get like imagine if you get like badges and stuff. Like just I think there's a little bit of like very inexpensive stuff that they could do that could make it better. I don't know. But that's the news. That's the news for today.
That's the news today.
So see, like I said, it's pretty meaty. Nothing too earth-shattering, but we did like find out some weird info about Pokemon toys. And I'm just like, I'm hyped for VGC. Like I love watching it. I love like, you know, checking out all my favorite battlers doing their like daily like battle videos and whatnot. It's fun stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else we want to talk about with the news before we jump into the FANSWERS?
No, not too much on my side.
All right, well then let's just jump into the FANSWERS segment.
FANSWERS, da 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 da. FANSWERS, da 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 da.
Nice.
Hmm.
What do we think?
I didn't think you were going to say segment.
I like kind of say it each time. I'm like segment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Segment. I don't know. I'm sorry to everyone listening. This is the part of the show where we read fan emails. We got 2 weeks of emails, so it's going to be a little bit chunky in terms of my inbox. So I'm going to try and be very discerning and not take too much time between emails to, look for them. But if you want to send in an email next time and try and get it read on the air, like I say, we read these pretty randomly unless they're too long or if they're from somebody that we know. Sorry that we give them preferential treatment, but like I feel like a friend of the show is somebody that you guys might want to hear from too, because they might have the potential of like showing up and being a guest on here. So I just like to introduce you guys to those people. But I don't think there's anybody like that this week. Possibly there is. I haven't really checked the inbox. So let's just jump into the very first one. It's called How Stupid, and it's from Lion Master Reese. It's, hi, Alex, Kelly, potentially Jimmy, and or guest. I'm Lion Master Reese. I did it. I finished the Master Quest on Ocarina of Time 3D, and I am back on Pokemon Sun. But if you have not read my previous email, then don't worry about this section. In writing in again to tell you something funny, I noticed in the battle tree, I started battling a backpacker, and the first Pokemon she threw out was a Durant with the Truant ability. My Pokemon was a Mega Mawile, so the Durant started using Dig, but before it could hit my Mawile named Trickster, as it's a male, Truant would cancel the attack, meaning my Mawile wouldn't take damage. I just used Rock Slide on it a couple of times and beat it easy. What do you guys think about this? I know Truant can be very useful, but this backpacker didn't think it through when she taught Dig to her Durant. Thanks for reading, Lion Master Reese. Here are some hashtags. Hashtag Team Mega Mawile. Hashtag Shadow Temple is harder than Water Temple. Hashtag Simon's Bowblade. Hashtag Team Beware. Hashtag Spiderlink. Hashtag Holy Moonlight Sword. Hashtag Team Rhyperior. Hashtag Zora Tunic. Hashtag Old Hunter Bone. Hashtag sorry for excessive hashtags. Hashtag not that long this time. Yeah, not a long email.
You want to know something?
Yes.
Hashtag Shadow Temper. Hashtag Shadow Temple is harder than Water Temple.
I think it's just scarier.
No, it was harder.
Like, maybe the actual physical things that you need to do are harder, but the problem with the Water Temple is not that it's hard. The problem with the Water Temple is that it's unintuitive. And playing it on the 3DS is actually a little bit easier because they light the path that you need to walk. Like in a movie theater or something, when you like change around the levels of the water, it like kind of like guides you to the next place you need to go. But it doesn't make it that much less confusing. So that I think that's why people roast the Water Temple, not because it's like, damn, this is hard.
I just like I played it like a little bit later in life. I was like 16 by the time I played it, and everyone was like, when you get to the Water Temple, you're gonna hate it. And I got through it with zero problem. And then I was like, that was a really cool temple. Like that was not.
It is a cool temple.
I don't know. I guess maybe it has something to do with like your preferential types of puzzle solving or something like that. Like some puzzles are more intuitive for certain people than others.
I just feel like sometimes I'm like walking around in a dream when I'm playing that temple. That's all. But no roasties. Like the Water Temple is cool. I like the music in there, and I love the Shadow Link fight. So all is well. But as far as Durant with Truant,
you know what? Sometimes the AI just does some not smart things.
You want to know what my hot take on this is? I wonder. I don't know how far along this was in the like order of people that you were battling in the battle tree. But it could be that like they did this on purpose to show you like ways that you can mess up, or like to like highlight a mechanic on how it works a little bit better.
You think so?
I think that sometimes they do that because like sometimes when you battle dudes, like they'll do that type of thing. They'll, like, how do I describe? Like I think they're the trial captain, not the captains, but the like blue shirts.
Oh, okay. Those guys are like, come back and help me. Come back and see me when you've beaten all the trainers on the route.
They're kind of like rangers.
Yeah.
Those people always are like, I use like this thing. I use like a Z-Stone and I use like this move, or I like use this skill. So it's there to like kind of teach you how to use it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so maybe that's the same thing, because otherwise, like, why would they program that trainer into the game unless it's totally randomized?
I wonder if it's like partially randomized. Like the Durant can have like one of 3 sets or something like that.
But why would they ever make it so that it could just get like bodied?
I don't know.
Right? It's weird.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you for that email. This next one is from Goat Rider Jane, and it's called Darth Bhisma. And it says, hey, Dex, Kids, and Wallace. Just listened to last week's episode where you asked who we want to voice Guzma in the Sun and Moon anime. My pick, Mark Hamill. The end. Goat Rider Jane.
I mean, like, that is a great choice. He's a great voice actor.
Are you imagining, like...
Joker.
The Joker?
Yeah, like, kinda, yeah.
I imagine him doing more like his, like, scarier voice. Like, have you ever played Darksiders?
No.
Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
It's like a game that came out last generation, like on Xbox 360 and stuff. That was like, The closest thing I could describe it as is like sort of like a fusion of like the like exploration and like temple structure of Zelda with like the combat of God of War. Does that sound pretty cool?
Okay, yeah.
And you play as like I forget which one you play as. I think it's War. You play as one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. I did not beat this game, but you have like a sort of like Navi-like character, except you're like one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. So it's like kind of like a like demented demon character.
Okay.
And it's totally Mark Hamill.
Oh.
And it's pretty good. Or like when he played that cloud of smoke on Adventure Time, and he was like super scary when Finn is like afraid of going in the water. You remember that one?
Yeah, I didn't know that was him.
Yeah.
See, he's great. He's cool.
Yeah, I'm into it. I think he's more like street in my mind. I always do him kind of like as like a like old-timey gangster, but I think he's probably intended to be a little bit more street considering his like music and his fashion style and the way he like walks. So, I don't know, but like do I want Mark Hamill to voice every character? Like kind of? Do I think he's like capable? Of course. How's that?
Yeah, that's agreeable.
Cool. Okay. Thank you for that email, Jane. This next one is from Ben, and it's called The IV System Needs to Change. Here we go. Hi, Dexcast and/or guest. I love your guys' content and can't wait for the next episode. I just wanted to say that I am not a fan of the current IV system. I ask you, what do IVs add to the game really, other than being a time sink? Most, if not all, competitive players have perfect IVs for the stats they need anyway, so it doesn't add anything to the experience. Competitive play should be about picking the right moves, items, and executing them properly, not about tedious grinding. My time is precious, and I don't want to waste it on breeding perfect IVs just to enjoy the meta. I know you can get bottle caps to increase these stats, but that takes time, and pokes have to be level 100 to be able to use them, which does not make sense to me in the slightest. Anyway, they should get rid of them or at least disable them for online play. If they think that if they did that, I think a lot more players could get into competitive battling, and it would only help the game in the end. Anyway, just my thoughts on the matter. Let me know what you think. Hashtag love you guys. Hashtag keep up the good work. Hashtag what's the email to reach you again? Your fan, Ben. Ben, the email to reach us at is thedexcast@gmail.com. Again, that's THEDEXCAST@gmail.com. I know you were joking, but just for the people who still ask me that all the time, there's another time that I said that. Okay? So now I'm going to be a little bit of like the like game director of Pokemon for a minute and give you like a political answer. Not a political answer, but like a sort of well-rounded answer as to why I think IV systems exist. And I think it's much more for a simulator type experience. Like it's more for your like personal experience than it is for competitive. And I think that it's important to remember that like the competitive experience is not necessarily all that Pokemon is about. Like, you know, you look at what's his name, Masada-san, and he talks about things like his greatest regret being that you could never transfer your Pokemon from Gen 2 to Gen 3 like cleanly. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. Right. And I think that the reason that the IV system exists is so that when you catch Pokemon, not all of them are the same. Yeah. Does that make sense? And for me, I think that's more important than making it 100% easy to get into the meta. And I think that the meta has taken the steps to make it easier. I realize like my time is precious, yada, yada, yada. But like, that's the same. Like you could say that about any sport. You know what I mean? Like, or like, even like why make there any barrier? Like, why can't everybody just enter the world championship? Or why can't, you know, yada, yada, yada. I understand even turning them off for online, but I think that for the average person who's battling online, like they're not trying to win the world championship. And so I think for that reason, I think like they'd rather double down on the idea of like your Pokemon are unique, even if it's like the same species that everybody else has. And I think that that's why they do it. Does that make sense?
Let's delve into a slight history lesson on IVs. Most of you will know, but some of you may not know that it stands for individual values.
Sure.
And they actually were put in place originally for the purpose that Alex said, which was to make sure that each Pokemon that you caught, even if it was the same species, acted a little bit differently. With the theory behind that you could get a couple different Shroomish, for example, and then figure out which one of yours you wanted to use based on what stat it was good in. And this is, you know, sort of the way with Nature's, but they wanted to go a little bit deeper with that and have it go just a little bit beyond the Nature's. And the way that it kind of reflects in a gaming experience is, for example, today I replayed the Elite Four, and I fought Hao. He came to challenge me, And his Raichu, even though his Raichu was 2 levels under mine, it still outsped mine because it has a higher individual value. And when that happened to me, I was like, oh man, he must have trained it really well. And like, so it translates more to like
it's an experience. It's like an experience thing.
It enhances the immersion a little bit. And then translating to Pokemon competitive, I think that that's a different user experience. You're not trying to get that like immersion once you're doing the competitive scene. And so you need to figure out a way to be able to manipulate those IVs in a certain way so that it doesn't really make
I don't think that right now, honestly, that getting those things is super difficult in terms of time. Like, it's still like some work, but compared to what it's been in the past, like, you know, going online and finding somebody who's going to hand you some bottle caps or grinding out a little bottle caps of your own, it's supposed to be a collaborative process. And I think that's what they want you to do, is to like sort of like try and find those high IV Pokemon from other people. And like, I think that you'll find that if you play the game the way that they're intending it to be played rather than the way that you would prefer that it was designed, not that it's like a roast on you. I'm just saying, like, if you like see what they say about like how their game systems are supposed to work and like take advantage of those things, even if it's not necessarily your ideal process, I think that you will be more happy with the way that, you know, your experience is with competitive Pokemon, you know? And also, you know, be realistic. Like, do you think you're going to actually win the world championship when you like play the competitive scene? Not necessarily, but it should be like a fun thing. And, you know, you don't necessarily need to bring the greatest Pokemon of all time to the battle, because like there's a ladder involved. So you're always going to be fighting people that are sit close to you on the ladder anyway. And even if that means you got to lose a couple times to like get to a point where players are equal to you, I don't think that's that big of a deal. Like, I think like it's a learning process. I think like, you know, if you're really into it, you know, like somebody who plays League of Legends, somebody who plays Overwatch, you're going to be playing thousands of matches over the time that you play. And I think that once you decide that you're going to get serious about it, that's when it's time to like really think about IVs. Like for me, it's a different situation because like it's kind of like my job to play Pokemon like in my day-to-day life. And so I'll go for that right out the gate because I know how to do it and I'm comfortable doing it and yada, yada, yada. But for somebody who's like trying to get into it, I would advise you to just like play the way they want you to play and like try and learn about how to battle effectively more than it is worrying about like feeling like there's a big barrier to you to even getting started, because there really isn't. Like IVs definitely matter when you're like in a championship tournament environment, but not so much when you're fighting a stranger online. Like maybe their Pokemon are a little stronger than yours, but that's not something that necessarily means that you won't be able to beat them, yada, yada, yada. And I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? Does that seem like I'm being too much of a jerk to anyone?
No.
No, right?
You don't sound like
Seems
a jerk.
reasonable.
It's like a really weird, interesting phenomenon about I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like a hot button issue. Is everyone out here listening and everyone, you know, that we associate with, we're all like experts of video gaming, you know, like we've gamed for a long time.
This is what we do.
And so like, you know, when we see something that works in some game and we see something that's, you know, could be improved in another game, we automatically think like, oh, if they just did it this way, it would be better. But it's really hard to divorce ourselves from that process and figure out why the designers did choose to go the way that they did.
You also got to remember that this is a product for millions of people and not just like your players in your specific situation. And so sometimes like the game's not going to be made completely to accommodate you, you know? And I think like a good gameplay, like a good like long-term gaming experience involves like you putting in something and the game like sort of like you have to like give something up to the game in order to get something out of the game, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think if Pokemon was just totally easy to like compete, it would be like just sort of like saturated with a bunch of people who are like watching Cybertron on the internet and then just like copying him exactly. And that like there are a lot of people already that are doing that who are just like, in order to do that, putting in all that work. So I think that you shouldn't worry about it so much and just try and jump in and have some fun first and decide whether or not you really want to put in that time before you do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next email. Thank you for that email, by the way. This one's from Christopher. Greetings from episode 30. Hey there, DexCast, possible guest, and Pupboy Wallace. Instead of waiting for the next podcast to be posted, I've started re-listening to them again from the beginning. It's been pretty fun listening to them with all this knowledge of the future. But the main reason I'm writing in is that I thought of a new Pokemon line. It's a grass fighting type, one of my favorite typings, based on trees. and I'm hyped to share it with you. This is great. It's like a classic Dex Fancer. Love this. Basic stage, Scrappling from Scrappy and Sapling. Imagine Scrappy-Doo, but as a tree. Perfect. Stage 1 is a Saupyrus. From Southpaw and Pyrus, scientific name for pear trees. And stage 2 is Pugilist. From Pugilist and Yggdrasil, the world tree from Norse mythology. Thoughts? Well, while you discuss, I'll let you guys do your thing. Raises a glass to conversations not had yet. Christopher. Hashtag, I thoroughly apologize for the Stephen King novel that is my email. It's not a Stephen King novel. You just double spaced it, so it seems longer. Hashtag, Dexcast is best cast. I totally agree with you there. Hashtag, hope as always. Hashtag, later man. Very classic. This email could have come from 2014. Love it. What do we think?
Okay, first of all, I love the name Scrappling. That's very, very, very cute.
Yep.
I imagine, I don't know if anyone out there has seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2 yet, but it just reminds me of Baby Groot, which is hilarious and cute.
Yo, that opening scene.
Very good. Very good
Cute,
movie.
Very cute stuff.
Very, very, very fun movie.
Underrated, I would say, already.
You think so?
People came out and they're like, it's not quite the first Guardians. I'm like, yo, it's...
No, it was great. It was so good. It was so funny. Like, you should just go out and see it. It's
I've seen it
time.
twice now.
Yep, same.
Crazy.
But anyway, so yeah, a little Scrappling, like fighting Baby Groot. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Scrappling.
And you know what? Fighting grass Pokemon are tight as is, you know?
Dude, my fave.
Yeah.
My fave. What do you think about Saupyrus and Pugilist? I like Pugilist as a name. Saupyrus, I don't think reads, but I like the thought behind it. Like Southpaw and Pyrus.
Yeah, I have to. There's so many names of trees.
Yeah.
That, like, I want to try to do some like tree fighting puns. But I love the idea of the line.
I love the idea of a tree with boxing gloves. I hope that's what you're imagining, because that's totally what I'm imagining. So yeah. Thank you, Christopher. Thanks for the email. That was a cool idea. This next one is called Hi, my very first email. It is from Jerry. Here we go.
Hey.
Hello, the Dex members. You can call me Jerry. I live in Taiwan, so sorry if my English is weird. I was invited as a concept artist by someone who wants to make a Pokemon fan game through DeviantArt in late 2015. During my work time, I just like to listen to all the PokeTubers talking lots of subjects, so things like your podcast is perfect for me. I've been listening to the podcast maybe since episode 100. Usually I can understand about 70% of the content, higher if it's all about Pokemon. Cool. For my first time, I just want to ask you a simple question. What would you want to know if you're guaranteed to be answered an unsolved mystery about Pokemon? Anything, whether it's lore-related, anime stuff, urban legends, anything. Thank you. Jerry with the deep questions. I would like to know what the deal is with the outstanding mysteries of Gen 6.
Okay.
I would like to know, I think the question that I would ask is, what is the explanation for all the little things hidden in Gen 6?
Okay. Like the power plant.
I want to know about the power plant. I want to know about that note behind the station. I want to know about the ghost girl. I want to know about everything. Zygarde. I just want to know, what happened with Gen 6. Didn't seem finished. There's also all that stuff in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire about Spiritomb and, Sea Mauville and the Trick Man, the Trick House guy. There's all kinds of stuff that's, really, bizarre stuff that just seems strange to just be in the game. But then again, Jesse Cox, a friend of mine, friend of all of ours, told me a story one time about these developers that he was talking to about how to make a successful fan base around your game and how to get people talking about your game. And it was kind of like a little bit, what do you call it? Pessimistic, where you're just like, but he was talking about how they said okay, here's how you do it. You have a cutscene where there's 4 tanks that are going to be the boss fight for the game. And there are 4 tanks are driving towards the protagonist, and in the cutscene, one of the tanks just takes a right and goes down another street. And people are going to be like, where did that tank go? What happened to that tank? Where is that tank headed? What is the explanation for that? And never explain it, and they will talk about it forever.
So it's like red herrings.
I don't know. I wouldn't say red herrings so much as it's not even intentional to misdirect you. It's more like a fake promise. A red herring implies that there's a true mystery on the side that you're going to eventually solve. But I think in this case, it's not even a red herring. It's like a dead herring.
A dead herring.
Yeah. Hashtag dead herring.
A wild goose.
Goose.
A wild goose.
A dead goose. A dead goose chase.
A wild red goose.
A red goose chase.
A red dead
Red dead goose chase. Hashtag red dead goose chase. Is that like too weak of an answer? I'm gonna say if that's too weak of an answer because it's like too broad of a topic, I'm gonna say I want to know about the ghost girl. Yeah.
Here's what I want to know. The specific thing that I want to know is when and how did people in Pokemon come to live in the same world? Because I don't think that they co-evolved alongside each other.
What if
I think that
what if the answer is just like they co-evolved alongside each other?
I will accept it. However, there's so much evidence to the contrary of that in like the lore of the game.
Yeah.
That it seems like something happened and then suddenly people in Pokemon were together and they learned how to live with each other.
Sure.
So I want to know what happened there.
Righteous.
That's what I want to know more than anything.
Okay. Cool. Great. Let's do another one. Sound good?
Sound good.
Thank you for that email, Jerry. That's a solid question.
And thank you for listening.
Yeah. Hello.
And also, your email was absolutely fine and readable. So don't
It's
worry
crazy.
about your
It's
English.
crazy to think that somebody in Taiwan is like listening to this.
That's really cool.
I love that. Thank you so much. Okay. This next one is from Immortal Ivan, and it's called Nintendo/Game Freak's Next Move. Will they take us by surprise? Hey, DexCast. Immortal Ivan here, longtime watcher of the Dex, first-time emailer, and lifelong Poke fanatic. With all the hubbub about the upcoming possible Switch games for Pokemon, I like to think on how the boss peeps at Nintendo like to knock our socks off, for better or for worse, with something we were not expecting at all. Like how Black and White 2 came out instead of Gray, and how Gen 6 didn't even have a third game. So with that in mind, I've been contemplating that the next main series game would be a combination of a sequel to Sun and Moon and the Gen 4 remakes like Solar Diamond or Lunar Pearl. It could involve the creation trio wreaking havoc in the Alola region, maybe something to do with Cyrus returning, or it could even delve into the multiverse theory and have the main character travel to Alola/Sinnoh, akin to the Kanto Johto stuff in Gen 2, or even the remakes which came out in Gen 4. My question for you guys is, what kind of mind-blowing insane stuff do you think the head honchos of the Big N could throw at us in the near future? Sun and Moon kind of proved nothing is off the table with the removal of gyms, with the exception of mature content, of course. And who knows, they could be listening in and use some ideas for this new game, and maybe they'd give you credit. If they are
They never give us
listening
credit. They always listen
and
in.
taking our ideas, then they are not giving us credit. Thank you guys for this awesome show and keep up the great work. Hashtag sorry for the long email. Hashtag theorizing. Hashtag Swampert is Bay. Hashtag Palkia is the better mascot. Hashtag Harry Ford for Nanu. Hashtag.
Palkia is the better mascot.
Don't even get hung up on that. We have some things that we need to answer.
That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. That's
I
fine.
totally forgot that Cyrus was in the game. I totally forgot that happened.
That he's like trapped in an alternate dimension still?
What?
What?
Isn't he in Sun and Moon?
No. What are you talking about?
Who did we run into?
Chorus.
Oh, Colress.
Yeah.
Well,
Cyrus got trapped in the Dark World with Giratina.
great. Well, how about Colress? What's Colress doing?
What is he doing indeed?
I forget that like we are seeing these characters from these other regions coming. Like we saw, who was the other one we saw? Grimsley?
Grimsley was there, and who else was there? I mean, like Red and Blue, obviously.
There's a couple, but like I'm wondering, like, because Colress seemed like he was up to something. I thought he was gonna like feature again in the game, and then he didn't. I don't remember.
I thought for sure he was going to be related to Lily, Gladion, and Lusamine.
Right? I don't remember because he like looks like him.
He looks like them. He's wearing the ether coats. Like who knows? Yeah. Like what was his role? He didn't end up really having a role. He just kind of like showed up and said hey, and then that was it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I kind of don't remember what he said exactly, but I would love to like relook at that. Can we pull that up?
Like the episode where we run into him.
Hold on. Colress, Sun and Moon lines. Look at this. Hot takes on the Dex podcast right now. Let's see if I can get it to come up.
It should be on his Bulbapedia page.
Yep. I'm pulling it up right now.
Ooh.
It says, oh my God, please. Please. All right. He says, oh, what? He's in the post game too? Where? All right. He says, I'm a scientist. My name's Colress. The theme of my research is bringing out the potential of Pokemon. I believe that is the bond they share with their trainers, and thus my attention is drawn to the Z-Ring. Never asked your name. Oh my God, more assets loaded in it. Like took me to another part of the page. Hold on. Never ask you your name. To commemorate your encounter, I'll give you flame charge. Z power is that the true potential that I seek? And then in the post game, he talks about Genesect and how its canon abilities can be activated using certain drives created by the scientists in the P2 lab. Simply believing in your Pokemon will not guarantee that you can do everything you want, but there are many things that are guaranteed to fail if you do not believe in them. You can battle them in the battle tree.
That's about it, huh?
And he says he's going to stay in Alola for some time. So I guess he wasn't really...
Well, maybe then he's going to be involved in the next game if he's going to stay in Alola.
Maybe it was just... Maybe I just picked up on like a weird vibe just because he looks weird.
Well, also because he was literally a villain in Black and White too.
Right.
He did not.
But
do
maybe
well.
it's not the same. But maybe it's not the same Colress.
It's a different
Did you ever
alternate
think about
reality
that?
Colress.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely a possibility, man.
Yeah. So who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Still, I don't trust him.
Okay. Thank you for that email. This next one's from Rio. It's called Coordinator Route. This will be maybe like, we'll do like one or two more.
Yeah.
Hey, Dexcast. So remember there was this idea of playing a Pokemon game as different kinds of trainers? And someone, cough, not me, cough, emailed about having more combined moves in the game a long time ago, like the pledge moves. Well, since the Gen 4 remake is undoubtedly coming, and just real quick, the pledge moves are like...
Water pledge, grass pledge.
Yeah, and they work off each other. Well, since the Gen 4 remake is undoubtedly coming, and since contest is a thing in Gen 4, which I really liked, I thought maybe there can be a contest hall in each town, and instead of winning a gym badge to progress through the game, you can choose to opt for the coordinator route. By participating in contests similar to the anime one, you'll still need to battle, but the move/mega evolving/Z moves also affect the score, and some hidden move combinations can give you even higher scores and deal more damage. I would imagine that'll be a pain to program, but how cool would that be? You can progress the plot by winning first place, and the judges will get harsher, and your opponents will get stronger by each passing town, and I think I could have explained the idea better, but you guys get what I mean, right?
Oh, I get it.
Hashtag Gen 4 DeBomb, hashtag Dex Rules, hashtag is overrated. Cheers, Rio. Yo, I would love this. Even if it was just like a side quest, I would love like an entire plot based around this. And the idea that it would be a pain to program should not matter because these guys are making millions of dollars off of this.
They've got if they
can't expend a little bit of effort to like program in some more battle mechanics, that's lame. You know what I mean? So, dude, I would be all about this. I know you've been watching the anime a lot more than I have. Do you think there's like the potential here?
I don't know what the watching the anime has to do.
I just know that there's a lot of in the X, Y, and Z anime having to do with like coordinating and beauty contests and whatnot.
Oh, X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I thought you meant the Sun and Moon anime.
Oh, no.
In which there's none.
No. I mean the contests that are in the.
Oh, it's so exciting! It's so fun. Like I love the contest episodes. They're that that's mostly Serena's story, but like it really legitimized the whole process for me, and I was like, oh man, that would be really cool to like be able to do a Pokemon journey like that. I think maybe like my potential ideal is like, you know how like in Breath of the Wild you can just do the dungeons in whatever order.
Right.
It would be cool if like you could just like go to whichever town and it would like scale with your level depending on like what you needed to do.
I'm into that. I would love to just replace the gym, like maybe not replace, but just alongside it. Like that's the type of stuff that's like not that much extra work.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to program a bunch of new areas. You know what I mean? You don't really have to like, there's just like dialogue and battle mechanics and you could have like a whole like 20-hour quest.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for them to add some type of leveling system to fashion.
Oh, to fashion. Oh, you mean the beauty contest?
Yeah, like
I thought you meant like Poke trainer customization.
No. I would like you to like be able to like train, maybe, or like prepare in some way that's like a little bit more than just like doing it, like to like make it really feel a little bit questy and maybe like have like a splot kind of like miscongeniality or something involved. Like that'd be great to have like Looker involved in a fashion show. Like, what if Looker had to, like, go in disguise as, like, a freaking, like, fashionista dude or something? What do you call a fashionista that's a guy? A fashionista? Probably just a fashionista. I don't know. That doesn't matter. But I think that's a great idea. I would love to see that. And I think that in the next game that we see, if it's on the Switch, that this is the kind of stuff that they're going to do to make the game a lot bigger.
Sick.
Kabeesh!
Kabeesh.
All right. This next one is from... I'm gonna call you B, just because it doesn't really say. I don't have like a good name here, so I'm going to call you B. It's called Pokemon and Dating. Greetings, Dexcast, longtime listener. This is going to be the last email. It's my first time emailing you guys, and I just wanted to thank everyone for the amazing work and quality show you put up for us every week. Thanks. I'd like you guys to cover your experiences in dating while being a fan of all things geeky. I've tried my hand at online dating, but I inevitably don't get many responses back once I start talking about my nerdy interest. I know Jimmy is married, and I'm sure Kellz and Alex are an item, maybe? Sorry if that's not the case. Anyway, I know people with nerdy interests can find happiness, so I guess I'm just trying to get inspiration from your stories. I'm sure this could be an interesting topic to discuss since the Pokemon fanbase has a significant 18-plus demographic. Anyways, thanks again, and sorry for the long email. P.S. I met Alex at the last SoCal Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions, and it was the best thing ever. There's a picture of me looking like utter crap after E3. But he's here, and he looks happy, and I look happy to see him, at least. See attached photo. I'm a paramedic and I work in a lab, so I am constantly listening to you guys to boost my spirits. I appreciate that, my dude. Thank you so much.
You're a hero, a real hero.
Yeah. But let's talk about this. So we're maybe not the best people to like give advice about like how to date somebody with
Here's the
nerdy
thing about dating.
interests.
Some people like date a lot of people. Some people don't date very many people. Like just in general. Sure. I'm the kind of person that has not dated a lot of people, but my relationships tended to be very long.
Same.
And so I didn't really have, I never like did Tumblr. I never did online dating, and I never
Tumblr?
Tinder. Tinder. Yeah, sorry. I never did any of that stuff.
Do not find dates on Tumblr.
Yeah, don't find dates on Tumblr. Most of my relationships came out of people that I'd already known. Like, and so like I can't say that I have a lot of dating experience. But even though I mean, like, I guess to set the record straight, Alex and I are dating.
Yeah, I will say that
for a long time.
it is Pokemon was central to Kelly and I ever getting together.
That's true.
Like, I had known Kelly for years before we started dating, but I wouldn't really count her as one of my close acquaintances at that time. You know, like, I don't think I would have been like, if I invited 5 people to something, I don't think she would have been one of them.
Right.
Even. But you know, we were both camp counseling and we had a bunch of downtime because it was like high school kids and they can like pretty much take care of themselves for the most part. And so we spent a lot of time playing Gen 4, which was the main games at the time, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, we just like bonded over it. We like played a bunch of Pokemon. I like taught you how to battle a little bit.
You taught me how to IV train.
Yeah, we were talking about.
I knew what it was, but I was like, man, that's just like too hard for me to like think about. And then you were like, no, it's not hard. Just like, and you taught me how to do that. Yeah,
and we like did it for a whole week. Like we like worked on it and like battled a bunch, and it was fun stuff. And then, you know, that eventually like
after that we just became like much better friends, and then eventually we just started to date.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I don't think it's impossible to find somebody who shares your interests. And I like never has there been a time when being a gamer or like a comic nerd or something like that has been like less like it is so cool to be that kind of person nowadays. And I think like if you wear it a little bit more, like you shouldn't like keep it as a secret to like spring on somebody like you're divorced and you have a kid, you know, when you have a dating profile. Like you shouldn't treat it that way.
What?
You know how people like on dating profiles, like you always like talk to your friends who date and then it's like, I dated him, it was a great date. And then we got home and he has like 2 kids and I didn't know. And it's like weird.
Oh, you should always say like it's so foolish to hide the fact that you've had like, you know, previous relationships or previous like children, etc. Yeah. Like just tell people if it's not a bad thing if you have kids, but like it's a bad thing if you're like trying to pretend like you don't.
But that's how I feel. That's how I feel about the Dex podcast. I mean, not the Dex podcast.
The Dex podcast.
That's how I feel about Pokemon in general. It's just like, or gaming in general, or just being a nerd about anything in general. I feel like that should be like who you are in the profile. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be like we have a good chemistry and then like all of a sudden we start talking about like, if you're that, be that. You know what I mean? There's no reason to be afraid of who you are. Like there's going to be people out there who are similar to you. You don't have to be afraid of it. Like people always do the work themselves to isolate themselves because they think that nobody likes the stuff that they like. But unfortunately, we're not as unique from each other as we'd like to think sometimes. And there's always going to be somebody out there who has the same interest as you. Even if they're not 100% across the board, you know, as long as you can respect each other's opinions and like you care about things that make each other happy, like you can be nerds. Kelly and I have like none of the same musical tastes almost. Like we like some bands that are the same, but like we definitely spend a lot of time tolerating each other's music, and it doesn't affect our relationship negatively at all because like that's who I am and that's who she is.
We like such different music. It's like he'll put like a song on and I'll just be like not responding. He'll be like, "This does nothing for you." I'm like, "This does nothing for me."
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you just got to be the person that you want to be, like, before you're dating the person. Like, you shouldn't be like, well, we'll build up to it. We'll build up to my, like, embarrassing problem. You know what I mean? It's not like that. You should be proud that you're a gamer, and I'm not saying you're not, but I think, like, if you're looking for a way to, like, sort of, like, find that person, I think you should just, like, live that life in your dating profile or in your real life when you're, like, out at a bar. I'm never afraid to, like, whip out my DS anywhere that I am. I'm never afraid to, like, talk about video games with somebody. I'm never afraid to, like, chime in when I hear somebody talking about video games in public, yada, yada, yada. And I don't think anybody should be. So hopefully that's good advice, because Kelly and I have a good relationship and we've been dating for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's where we'll stop today. That sounds good, right? It's a nice juicy hour of Pokemon goodness.
Yeah.
Nice little sentimental sentiment to end the podcast on. Guys, again, I've some of you have been contacting me about Pokemon classified ads on the Dex podcast. Doesn't necessarily need to be about Pokemon, but if you guys are interested in the classifieds, if you think like that could be a good way for you to promote, like, commissions or, whatever else, like, if you make like some stuff on Etsy or you actually run a business and you're doing some kind of promotion, just let me know. Use the hashtag commissionsyes, tweet at me. And maybe we'll announce something, because I've been getting some interest lately, and I wouldn't make it very expensive, because it's going to be just like a quick little audio spot on a podcast that, has a lot of listeners, but I'm not trying to like break anyone's bank. So I just think it would be a fun way to like kind of like keep the lights on a little more over on our end. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you for listening. If you guys want to send in an email to us to try and get it read on the show, again, I stress that it is random and not every email that you send in is going to get read. But I also want to stress that if you send in the same email again twice, I think I'm going to have to start like discounting those emails, because people are starting to take advantage of it. Like, I'm getting the same email like 5 or 6 times. And I think that from now on, if you do that, in a way that it's like, I'm getting the same email from you 3 times in 1 week, I don't think that should be the case. If I get the same email from you like 2 or 3 podcasts later, that's not a big deal. You're not like clogging my feed. But please don't like try and game the system. It's not a sweepstakes. Don't try and like enter multiple times. That's crappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not about that. It's just about like, having a dialogue, and like, it's no personal slight to you if your email doesn't get read, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, it's a bit, I mean, like, it's mean to say the word annoying, but to like see the same exact email a couple different times, it just seems like you're just like, please.
Yeah.
Like, if you had something and like, it's been a while, like it's been like a month or 2 and there was no like response, you could try sending that again, but don't do rapid fire sending emails.
And here's the thing that's tight about this is that if there's something that's really burning, you can always tweet at us at Fossiani A or at Kellz on Twitter or at the National Dex, whoever you want to contact on Twitter, you can do that. And like, I don't like ignore people who tweet at me unless they're being jerks or being impolite, So that's one way you can contact us, or you can jump into the Discord if you have like a question that you want to discuss or like a theory that you want to talk about. And there's going to be people there all the time. You might even run into us there, but you can get a really nice, deep discussion going, and you might even meet a friend. You might even fall in love with someone. Did you know that in the Beard Bros Game Wisp that there are 2 people who now live together?
That's awesome.
Who met through that?
That's so cool.
Crazy, right?
That's
I saw them and they had matching shirts on last time I saw them.
How cute.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, very tight stuff. But guys, thank you for listening. I've been Alex.
I am Kellz.
And this has been the Dex Podcast. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Later, man.